Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, at a cinema, Richard bought 2 hot dogs and 1 soda for $13. At the same time, Robert bought 5 hot dogs and 3 sodas for $34. Which system of equations can be used to determine the price per hot dogs X and the price of each soda Y? Okay, so let's analyze the question. What are they talking about here? Well, they're talking about these two people that they went to the cinema, right? And they bought hot dogs and sodas. Okay, so the first thing we need to try to find out is what does the X and the Y represent, right? So if you read the last part of the question, it says the price per hot dogs X. So now I know that X will represent the price per hot dog. And the Y is actually the price for each soda. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that to start my problem, right? So the first thing I'm going to write down is the price for the hot dogs will be represented with X, and the price for the sodas will be represented with the Y. And I can see that on the last part of the question that it says price per hot dog X, right? And the price for the soda is going to be the Y. Okay, so now I know what's X and what's Y. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the question, and now I'm going to read about Richard. And who's the other one? Robert, right? So, and once I find out what is it that each one of them bought, then we can write down the equations, okay? So let's go with Richard. He's the first one in my list, right? So it says that Richard bought, and then it tells you what is it that he bought. It says he bought 2 hot dogs. Now, I don't know the price of the hot dogs, but I know he bought 2, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight hot dogs because that's what he bought. And remember, the price of the hot dogs will be represented with X. So I'm going to write down an X right above that. And Richard also bought a soda. And we know that the soda is going to be represented with a Y. And that's how much money he spent, $13. So if I want to write down the equation for Richard, well, think about it. If he bought 2 hot dogs, and I do not know the price of the hot dogs, but I do know that is represented with X, then I can write down 2X for the cost of the hot dogs. Is that right? And the soda is going to be only 1Y, or I can just write down the Y. Because remember, the 1 is not needed. And the cost for those items was $13. So we're pretty much done with Richard, right? Okay, what about Robert? Well, it says that Robert bought, what is it that he bought? He bought 5 hot dogs. He bought even more, right? So right there with the hot dogs, I'm going to highlight that. And remember, that's going to be my X. So I'm going to write down like a little arrow pointing to that. Okay, so I can see that the 5 goes with the X. What about the sodas? Well, Robert bought more sodas also. He bought 3 sodas. And the sodas, the price of the sodas are represented with a Y. So Robert bought 5 hot dogs. We don't know the price of the hot dogs, but the X represents the price of the hot dogs. So I can write down an equation as 5X, and then he bought 3 sodas. We don't know the price of the sodas, but it's represented with a Y. So I'm going to add the 3Y, and the total cost for Robert was $34. Okay? So now the next thing for us to do is look at the answers that we got and look at the answer choices to see if we can find the matching systems of equations. So we can see that the answer choice that matches my problem is actually letter B, yes.